While President Donald Trump pursues trade progress in Asia, he has escalated tensions with the United States' northern neighbor by announcing an additional 10% tariff on Canada. The move comes after a television advertisement funded by the Canadian province of Ontario aired on
Canadians love Americans
networks, including during the World Series. The ad incorporated lines from former President Ronald Reagan's 1987 speech warning that high tariffs lead to retaliation, spark fierce trade wars, shrink and collapse markets, shutter businesses and industries, and cost millions of jobs. The spot framed the stakes as American jobs and economic growth. Ontario Premier Doug Ford joined CNN to discuss the controversy, thanking the network for the invitation and emphasizing that Canadians value their relationship with Americans, and he described his intention as bringing a message directly to the public. Tariffs and protectionism do not work. Ford characterized Reagan as a free trade champion and, in his view, the greatest U.S. president. Ford, he said the goal was to communicate that message clearly, and he argued it succeeded. According to Ford, the ad generated 11.4 billion impressions worldwide across media and views, spreading its message broadly. He reiterated his desire for Canada and the United States, close friends and allies, to work side by side. Ford maintained that a tariff on Canada ultimately functions as a tax on Americans. He contrasted President Trump's job creation promises with recent indicators, asserting that manufacturing jobs had declined for 5 consecutive months and inflation had risen. Outcomes, he said, diverge from the president's stated aims. Ford argued that the practical path forward is to conclude an agreement with the United States' largest customer, Canada. Citing reporting from CNN's news-gathering partner CBC, the interviewer noted that Ford's criticism of tariffs and of President Trump reportedly surfaced repeatedly during trade talks, raising the question of whether Ford was intentionally playing a bad cop role. Ford responded that he had never made personal remarks about President Trump in the ad or otherwise. He said it was ironic that Trump initially thought the ad was a smart idea, claiming that if he were Canada, so he would run the same ad, yet later reversed his view after all. In Ford's words, someone whispered something in his ear. Ford reiterated that the spot was meant to inform U.S. audiences, and he declared, "Mission accomplished." Asked about the decision to pause the campaign after speaking with Canada's Prime Minister, Mark Carney, to facilitate the resumption of trade talks, Ford denied that Carney had demanded anything of him. The Premier said his responsibility is to protect Ontario's economy, the largest in Canada and a national engine serving 16.5 million people. He framed his duty as safeguarding steel, auto, life sciences and manufacturing jobs. Confronted with Canada's unemployment rate reaching a 9-year high and the possibility that Ontario's strategy might have complicated matters for Canadians amid retaliation, Ford rejected the premise. He argued that President Trump initiated the broader tariff escalation globally, not just with Canada, and that Americans are now feeling the effects. According to Ford, more tariffs mean higher taxes on Americans and fewer jobs. Ford invoked Reagan's many speeches following the Canada Free Trade Agreement concluded with former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, whom Ford described as a mentor who has since passed away, contending that their approach created unprecedented employment on both sides of the border, and protectionism, Ford insisted, does not work. He called for policies that would increase jobs in both countries and endorsed what he termed the American fortress, by which he meant a joint American-Canadian fortress, two wealthy, safe nations working together. Ford highlighted Canada's contributions to our economic and strategic needs, from oil and uranium to potash for agriculture and high-grade nickel from Ontario, crucial to manufacturing and the auto sector. He asserted that the auto industry is losing billions of dollars annually because of tariffs. The interview concluded with thanks from both sides and Ford's closing words. God bless America, God bless Canada, God bless